Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Max&JuanCast with a special guest tonight, special edition tonight. We got Max on my left, and we got our special guest, Shaun, a.k.a. Shaun V. Shaun, how you doing tonight, my brother?
I'm doing great. You guys, it's a pleasure to have me on. Big fan of the show, big supporter as well. Looking forward to it.
This guy's my brother-in-law, and I'm fucking blessed, bro. I'm just put it like that. I'm a lucky bro. I'm put it like that. I never had a brother growing up. I had two sisters that were like, that wanted nothing to do with me. Shout out to her. She's working the camera tonight. But
shout out, wifey.
Yeah.
Same shoes with me. Growing up with two sisters, always wanted a brother.
Yeah.
Just for sports alone.
Well, I got that luxury. Shout out to my older brother. I mean,
you ain't got to flex on us like that,
I had
bro.
to flex a little bit, but it's all right though. But tonight, look, we're going to get out of our comfort zone tonight, Max. Just a little bit, all right? But before that, let me go ahead and tell you guys to subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Hit that like button, hit that comment button. Comment down below whatever you guys have any thoughts, opinions on what we're going to talk about, because tonight, typically we be talking NBA, NFL, you know, even a little boxing.
A little baseball.
Nate Robinson get knocked out here and there. But tonight, we're going to throw it back to golf, man. And look, right off bat, I fucking suck ass at golf, bro.
Oh, yeah,
I've tried it.
Okay,
look, shout out to my older brother. He's a golfer now. He's been golfing for the last like 2.5 years.
So he's old now.
That's usually the trend. The older you get, the more you'll fall into the sport.
He put me on. He's like, dude, golfing is like, it's fun as hell. You got to try it. I'm like, all right, I'll get my big ass out there. I don't have no clubs. I don't got this. Bro, the first time, I'm not going to lie, it was low-key a disaster. I couldn't hit the ball. I was swinging at the grass. I was hitting all grass in the bunker. Lost as fuck. Like, didn't know golf etiquette. None of that.
But you had fun, right? In a very frustrating way?
Yeah. I had enough fun to go back. Okay? I had enough fun to go back.
Fair.
But I suck. Max, what about your experience with golf?
I used to be like go to summer camps, and they would have like sports. So it was like every week was a different sport. So one of the weeks was golf, and that was like the first time like I picked up a golf club. I was like 12, and then we went on a family vacation to San Diego, and I went to a driving range, and I used to have balls for like the whole day, and I had like the biggest blister on my hand. I suck. I agree. I suck. I went with him.
So he claims he sucks, but I dragged him out one time to the driving range. Dude was a natural.
The first one I hit was like fucking like it
just
went
like
straight.
butter.
Next one was like fucking like slice, and this dude's like, oh, I'm not that good. It was like straight every time, dude. I was like, Tiffany did not tell me you were this good at golf.
I think he's got a future in it.
I mean, I appreciate it. You're already in the fan, bro. You don't have to, kiss my ass.
Well, look, that's the weird thing with golf, man. In my opinion, I just feel like no matter how much you're playing it, or, the more practice you give, you're always going to mess up. Because you even see the pros mess up. Like, sometimes they just shank balls or whatever. So, like,
collapse on a hole, and it's like 5 in the
right.
water.
And it's like you go out there on the course, and you're like, it usually tends to go like this. You're in the driving range. You're feeling it. You're hitting balls straight. They're going far. And you're like, all right, let's go out on the course. Shit's going left. Shit's going right. You're missing the ball. You're like, what the fuck happened?
Very true. Even if you're one of these leaders on one of these big tournaments, like these pros, the margin for error is so slim, guys, that you could be in the lead, and in one hole, everything could just turn around. All it takes is one hole to mess up on, and you go from like leader of the pack to just middle of the pack, just like that.
Yeah. So, Shaun, how did you get into golf? Like, what triggered you?
Always been an avid golfer, but ironically, I got into it myself. Living right next to a golf course growing up, just walking by, I was just fascinated by just how massive like a course is. It's not like basketball. It's not like the same same arena you're stepping into. Every course is different. And just seeing the players swinging this club and hitting this ball, and everybody looks so focused and concentrated, it just took me aback as a kid. So I just knew I had to get into it and see what it's all about. And just dragging my old man out with me, he would just bring out his cigar, and it all started there.
I mean, that's what it's all about. I really do think so. Like, for the golfing. Like my brother's always saying that, like, it's a brotherhood. You know what I mean? Crack a couple beers open, you have fun, hit the ball around. You know what I mean? It's not really like you're competitive at the same time, but it's not like back and forth so much like basketball or football where it's like intense. You know what I mean?
I feel like you almost compete with yourself. It's
right.
Like, I just want to do better than I did yesterday. Like I shot a 73. I want to shoot a 72.
No.
So, like, how old were you when you started getting into golf?
So I got into golf whenever I was about, I would say, 7 or 8.
Wow, holy shit! You got a lot of years of experience on me on one, dude.
Way more. I was my first time with a actual golf club. Like
mini
when I was a kid,
circuit.
No, not even mini golf, bro. I was messing around as a kid and like hitting around big ass like the 1 liter Coke bottles, like just fucking around in the backyard and shit. Like that was my experience. I didn't start. My first time playing golf was like 3 years ago with my brother, like straight up. So
it's
completely new
it's
to me.
it's definitely a sport where the later you get into it in life, I think the harder time you'll get as to getting as good as you can, because it's all about form and technique. And so, you know, the younger you are, it's kind of like muscle. You get to develop this kind of muscle memory that, you know, will serve you well in the future.
Yeah. Well, let's get into the pros now, because look, a new league is starting up, what I've been hearing. But before we really get into that, what do you really look forward to when you're watching golf? Like, who are some of the guys that you watch for?
I mean, growing up, how could you not say Tiger Woods? We, as a kid, just watching Tiger, he was like my Michael Jordan. Whenever it came to watching basketball, the way I was watching Jordan is the way I was watching Tiger play golf. Dude smashed every record. His consistency, I think he's got some kind of a record of most made cuts, consecutive cuts made in tournaments. So pretty much he played in every tournament. I think it was for 80 tournaments or so, and he made every single cut,
So
which
like,
is
that's
unheard of.
Okay, so like, what's the cut? Is that like when you like get to be play?
So
So is
the
it always
cut-
the same number? Or is it like +2?
So the cut varies in every tournament. Everybody starts out on a Thursday of every week, and you play 2 days. And so the first 2 days is half the tournament, right? Because it goes into Sunday. So half of the field makes it into the weekend, and the bottom half does not qualify into the weekend.
So if everyone shot, let's say the lowest was -1, and everyone else shot better, they're gonna get cut.
So-
no matter what, even if they're under par.
So pretty much they'll make the cut line somewhere in the middle of the pack.
Oh, okay.
So depending on how difficult each course is, each tournament, the cut line will vary.
Wow, that's crazy, man. Dude, I mean, I just want to go back. We were talking this before we even went on air. He was telling us about the different types of ball, and I was just like, I'm blown away that golfers bring their own ball. I would think like, imagine it's like going to like an NBA game and it's like, oh, Tatum, you brought a ball? Let's go. It's like, oh, this is a different one than everyone else is using. I just think that's bizarre. Like, I would think you'd want a uniform, like everyone has the same ball. Because he was telling us like, if you're just a crappy golfer and using a top line ball, it's going to spin more than a crappy ball. And I would just think that's like, couldn't a golfer use that to his competitive advantage? Like,
right. So, you know, the better the ball, the softer it is, the more components it has in it for better golfers to take advantage of. So, it's a lot of free choice in golf you have, even when it comes to your golf clubs. So, tons of brands to pick from, and advantages again is you could have these clubs fit for you for your swing. So, you know, a lot of free choice in it from these pros that they get to take advantage of. And I think that's where golf totally varies from any other sport, you know, because you're forced to play with, you know, certain bat in baseball or whatnot. But golf, there's a little bit more free choice, which I like.
is there like a limit to the amount of clubs you can take into a tournament?
Definitely. There's a rule.
Yeah.
So the rule on that is 14 clubs. And you'll watch tournaments where, say, a player will get upset and mad. And if he breaks a club, you can't use that club for the rest of the tournament. So you're one club less. So
even
you got to
if
control your anger out
if
there.
That's why they never smash their drivers and stuff.
Tiger, I mean, so drivers, I think Tiger once had an episode with his driver, but it didn't completely break, and he finished a tournament with it. So that's one club I think you better hold on to, because that's going to go the
I feel like
furthest.
putter and driver. Like I guess you can get rid of like a 3-iron. You got like a 5-iron.
I think you can get rid of a putter too.
What are you gonna
honestly, 'cause
putt with?
You can putt with
With your
almost
driver?
anything.
You know
No,
what
but
you're
you
right
can
about
putt
that
with
one.
you can
That's
putt
right.
with anything. almost.
Putters gives you the most frustration in the game, because you can imagine, so a 1-foot putt counts the same amount of strokes as a 300-yard drive, right?
Yeah.
So a 300-yard drive is a 1 stroke, and a 1-foot made putt is another stroke. So you get a lot of these players breaking their putters, or even throwing them, flinging them in the lake or whatnot, and they'll putt the rest of the tournament with their
a 9
sand wedge.
or a sand wedge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a big difference?
What's that?
Like just putting with the sandwich? Like how
Oh,
different?
it's impossible. But these pros are so
Yeah, I
damn
guess.
good that just the fact that you could finish a tournament with a chipper is impressive.
Yeah,
I mean, that's how sometimes it is though, because there was a time where I think it was like my second or third time golfing or whatever, and I was borrowing my brother's clubs, but he was telling me, he was just like, "Don't worry, like this course right here, you only need like 2 clubs.
Yeah.
You need a putter and a 9. That's it. That's all you need." He was like, "You can hit it. You can hit the ball from anywhere. Just it depends on how long the course is, like how far the holes are. It really depends on what clubs you're gonna be using."
Totally like a shooting range. Like say you go to a gun shooting range, it's like target practice out there. Every club is for a different distance. These players are so dialed into their numbers, their yardages. Yeah. I mean, they'll pick a club. They know how to differentiate clubs from like say 120 yards to a 125-yard shot. Yeah. So
is that like
they're
the
pretty
analytics
exact
of golf, would you say? Or is that like, is analytics entered the golf? Because in the NBA, we know the analytics is like, let's take more 3-point shots. Let's never take a long 2. NFL, it's like, all right, here's the analytics. Let's go all the time. Doesn't matter. Even if the Chargers are playing the fucking Raiders and you're on your 20-yard line and you can't move the ball, let's go for it. Doesn't matter. So have the analytics seeped into golf?
100%. So you know what? As much as it factors into football, I think it factors just as much in golf. Because a lot of these pros, so let's say on par 5s, right? So every course has about 2 to 4 par 5s on it. A lot of these players will have a different game plan on those par 5s alone. So a lot of players, like say half the players will decide to go for it in two shots and try to like follow it up with an eagle if they could pull it off. And a lot of other players will lay up and go for it in 3 and then just go for a birdie putt. So it's a lot of decision making in golf. It's a lot of course management that's going to pick apart the good players from the bad at the end of tournaments.
So like in the NFL, I would say, would you agree with me? Teams have gotten more aggressive when it comes to like going for it on 4th down.
Yeah. I mean, the whole aspect. I mean, even
in
third down and long,
even in team building though, there's teams like Rams, like fuck them picks.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
So in golf, has there been more of a like let's go for the eagle more than the birdie?
So a lot of the younger players are getting stronger. They're bombing the ball. So second shot on a par 5, they'll just take out a 3-wood and they'll just go for it. So they'll like bomb it like 280 yards, and they just want to be green side because they're so good that even if they're just anywhere around the green, they have the ability to get it up and down. We call it up and down in golf, where you could just chip it up and put it into the hole.
What's the answer to stopping? Is that a problem you think, or is there?
You know what? These guys are so good that they've taken golf to a whole nother level. So like Jack, Nicholas, Gary Player, all these older golfers, they might, looking back, I mean, back then they might think it's a little crazy to go for it on like every hole, but these guys are so consistent that, and the technology that these new clubs have on the face of these clubs, that they're able to pull it off.
Wow, that's incredible, dude.
Yeah.
And Juan alluded to it. There's a new league starting. So is this new league going to use the same courses as the PGA? Because we've already heard PGA is not a fan of this new league.
Okay, look, before we even jump into that, break it down. I'm a little kid, right? I don't even know my ABCs. You're teaching me ABCs right now. Simplify it right now. What the hell's going on with this league? How is it funded? Who's playing in it? Like the whole works of it.
So, you know what? I mean, this new league alone has really brought golf to like a whole new discussion. What it's done is it's sort of opened up a Pandora's box in golf, because a lot of the players, they're choosing to branch away from the PGA, and it's not necessarily, in my opinion, for good reasoning, because the Saudi tour, they're throwing so much money at these guys that they're just running for the money.
Well, I guess that makes sense if you're a middle of the tour guy, right? Like if I'm Max and say you're Tiger and I'm Max and I'm 150th in the world, I'm never really going to win a major. If that tour was like, hey, bro, we'll pay you double what you're making now, I feel like I'd be a fool not to.
Can't blame them.
And I mean, they offered Tiger $1 billion. $1 billion to join this damn thing.
You know what? I would believe it. I would believe that number.
The way I'm thinking of it, though, is like, why are golfers just up for grabs? Like, why wouldn't you get like Steph Curry, Tony Romo, guys who are amateur golfers? Yeah, they're not the best. They're not PGA Tour guys. They won't win a Masters or anything, but they can compete out there. For a fact, I know like Steph Curry can compete with an actual pro golfer. Like, why wouldn't you just pay those guys a bunch of money just to boost the league?
Waters it down where it's like if this? Well, I would say that would water it down if you're trying to get like
water it down, and I think it'll kind of diminish the credibility of the new tour out there. Guys are leaving for two reasons. One, I mentioned earlier, for the money, just like you mentioned, Max. Like if your better days are behind you, then I think you're gonna join that tour, right? Like Phil Mickelson. I mean, yeah, the guy's still winning majors. He won a major as soon as last year, but I think he's about 50 years old now, and he went for it because this is, I think, guaranteed money. You don't have to win a tournament out there to get paid that money. They're getting the money without even just for signing up. It'll take you on the PGA Tour here in the States for you to make $100 million. I think you got to win 50 tournaments. And the likelihood of that happening is just not physically possible.
And from my knowledge, what I've been finding out about this too is golfers, when they go on the Masters or any of these tours, they don't get paid for their hotels. They don't get paid for meals. They don't get paid to fly out there.
That's big.
All of this is out of their pocket.
That's the big thing about that.
That seems so idiotic in retrospect. Like, how could the PGA's make? Do you think the PGA's making enough money to board these guys and give them food?
You know what? Probably so, but I kind of appreciate the fact that in a golf tournament, in the PGA, if you don't make the cut line, you go home with no money. So you got to cover your expense to get in and to get out of that tournament.
So how does that work? Like, so I understand, like, I think there's like a golfer's ranking system, right? Like you get points, and that's how they determine how you get into these tournaments. So if they join this league, like what happens? Are they out? Are they not allowed to come back? Do you save your points? Like,
the crazy thing about this league is there is no cut line. Yeah, you guys heard it. There's no cut line.
Wow.
So, I mean, in a way, it's less competitive if you ask me, and it's not as enticing to watch those first 2 days, because in PGA Tour, Thursday and Friday is very exciting because it's who's going to make it and who's not going to make it.
Yeah, it's like Tiger shooting horrible. He's not going to make it. Right. It's like crazy.
So the U.S. Open is happening this week in the States. It's the hardest tournament. I think it's harder than the Masters because they picked the hardest tournament going on, the hardest course, I should say, in the States during that time, and they picked that course. So Phil just got a whole... People have been going off on Phil this week because he didn't make the cut line, and he's left for the Saudi tour. So he's getting a bad rap.
Wow. Wasn't there a guy, was it Dustin Johnson who was suspended, or was it Bryson DeChambeau who joined the Saudi tour and got suspended indefinitely? I think I read that online, that one of them.
What's crazy is they suspended these guys. So the Saudis, they announced that, the PGA Tour, my bad, announced that they're going to be suspending guys going over there. But all the names that have joined, they all played this week. They're all... Sergio Garcia is playing in the U.S. Open. Phil's in there. A lot of these guys are still playing. Colin Morikawa is like leading. I think he's up in the pack, and he's one of the latest golfers to join the LIV Tour. So I think the tour might have taken their stance on that back because people still want to see these guys. I mean, how could you not want to see Dustin Johnson still on the PGA Tour? He's one of my favorite guys. Or Colin Morikawa. I mean, I took lessons with his instructor, crazy enough, when I was a kid, and he's grown up to be one of my favorite golfers. So I think that'll hurt the league, the tour, I should say, in the long run. But yeah, I mean, I hope they lower their stance on that.
Do you think it's maybe just like PGA's like, I'm the big kid on the block, and just this like competition, they're kind of just like, whoa, we don't like that. We don't really want to see.
I mean, it kind of reminds me of the NFL and the XFL the first time.
Yeah, or maybe even going back to the USFL in the 80s where they were like, holy crap, these guys are getting Herschel Walker out of college. And like people are spurning the NFL. So maybe the PGA is kind of lashing out because it's like, damn, you guys are spurning us. You guys know who we are. We're the PGA goddamn tour.
Yeah. That's what's funny about that is that I think the Masters is different though. That one is invitational. Like you get to pick whoever. Like it doesn't matter who is leading in the ranks. Like you can just, it's an invite only.
So the Masters, it's actually based on two things. It's world rankings. So in the world, you got to be like top, I think it's like top 150 or 125.
They have that many golfers to be Masters?
Oh, there's yeah.
Wow,
So,
Masters
holy
is huge.
shit!
right.
That's my favorite one. I like the Masters.
Juan just wants that green jacket.
Juan, you're just traditional here. Masters. So yeah, it's based off of world rankings, and actually, if you win the Masters, you're invited for life.
Yeah.
So that's the cool thing about that.
Wow. That would be like a pretty good you could just like never do anything again. Just be like, I got this one tourney a year.
So, is this gonna last? Do you feel like this is here to stay?
You know what? It's interesting. LIV, that's the name of the Saudi tour.
Yeah.
They got 4 out of the top 20 golfers in the world right now on their circuit.
I mean, you say 4, but
that's
these
a good
are
number.
Huge. No, but these are huge guys,
right?
You know what I mean?
You're talking Victor Hovland,
Dustin Johnson,
Colin Morikawa.
Did they get to DeChambeau too?
They just got Bryson DeChambeau. That's a big one, and he's
like a polarizing guy in general.
Right now, he's been taken off. He's been so good for the PGA. I just got word that 2 or I think maybe even a couple more new names are going to be added to that list on Monday morning, the day after the U.S. Open is through.
Well, I think when you start something new like this, you always got to worry about financial backing. Like the XFL folded. There was like, damn, we just can't keep pouring money in. But we know one thing about people from Saudi Arabia or the people backing it. They got plenty of bucks.
They can't spend the money fast enough.
They're making it and they can't spend it. They're having a good old time having this new golf league.
Funny thing about the name too, the LIV.
I was thinking of a Super Bowl for some reason.
No, that's where they got it. It's a joke. Like they kind of did it because
I didn't know that.
Yeah, something about the owners or something. There's like this inside joke with them. Like when the losing team has all that gear from the Super Bowl, they're like, where the fuck does it go? Like it's just a big ass waste. So apparently like they bought it. Like they bought that gear or something. And that's why it's called the LIV.
So did they watch that like E60 when they had like the Patriots perfect season gear and they all like talked about where it went? That's fucking nuts, dude.
Yeah, but I'm really interested to see where it goes because look, this is a whole different situation from football in particular because football, I feel like one aspect that's you're not gonna have with this is the violence of it. You're like. The violence on the football field, you can get hurt at any fucking time.
Right.
Bodies are just dropping.
I thought you were talking about like golfers like beating up other golfers. Like, what do you mean violence? Bro?
No, like you're not gonna have this worry about joining this league and be like, fuck, if I get hurt and I do get an opportunity to go to the PGA Tour, like, what if I get hurt?
Yeah, what if I turn my ACL like week 1?
Exactly. The golfers are not necessarily gonna get hurt that much.
I
wouldn't say they won't get hurt, but
so the only time a notable golfer got hurt during a tournament or some play was the last time was Tony Finau. He made a hole-in-one at the Masters, and he was so excited running after his ball on the green. He stepped on his ankle, and he totally messed it up. He was lying on the.
That's like
on
the who was it? Stephen Tulloch Hall of Fame. Who was the guy in the Raiders who did it too? Lamar Houston.
Oh, Lamar Houston.
Yeah, that's like the Hall of Fame when you get a sack and you tear your ACL. Like,
or in baseball, if you're hit a walk off and you're running in.
oh
Who was
my,
that baseball
Kendry
player?
Morales. He was never
Morales.
the same. Did you ever see that?
That's right.
He had a walk off home run. He jumped on home plate and dislocated his ankle.
Jesus.
Never the same.
Never the same.
So you bring up baseball, and the way I'm thinking of this, does any other sport have the ability to do this? Like, what do you guys think? Like, would somebody fight the NBA of trying to make a new league, and would it work? Maybe for baseball too?
No, baseball, they can't even get fucking people to watch. Actually be interesting to see if baseball,
It would be
if they were
interesting.
like, let's really buy into the fun aspect of baseball. Because if you think about baseball, what's the biggest problem? It's the bottom of the ninth. You want to see your star players get a chance, and it's like, oh shit, we have our worst hitters coming up, and we're screwed. So even in extra innings, you might not get a chance to see Aaron Judge or Shohei Ohtani. So I don't think baseball would be the one. NBA,
I agree.
I think
there's
it
so
could
much
work.
talent in the NBA. Like, you got all these guys coming from everywhere. But I feel like if the NBA literally all they'd have to do is be like, you can jump from high school again, and then there'd be no reason to go to that league.
See, but this is another thing with the NBA where I feel like it would work. I just feel like there's so many different styles of basketball.
Are you saying the LeVar Ball League was a failure now? The JBL?
I don't think so.
You don't think that failed when he wasn't paying guys?
I really don't think so. It was run bad, but I don't think it was a fail, like a total fail to the point like the XFL. They finished out their season.
Which XFL do you think? The first one or the second one?
No, the first one.
First one I thought was a success.
Whatever one with The Rock, and then COVID hit.
Oh no, that's like the third one.
Okay, yeah,
I was
third
into
one.
the first one and the first one only.
The first one
That's
is like the ESPN stole like the way they broadcast their
Correct.
games and stuff. I just think sports are getting to that point. I think football.
That's
football
the
could
hardest.
have one.
I don't think
I
so.
don't. There's so many guys out there wanting a chance, but the problem is it's so expensive for football.
Right.
You'd have to have backing, like
Yeah.
you'd have to have guys stick with it. Like, that's the big problem. The product's not bad in football because these guys know what they're doing. It's not like, what's a bad one? It's like, remember when Kimbo Slice fought Dada, and it was like, these guys shouldn't be fighting. The NFL, it's like the product's decent, or the XFL is decent. They can just never sustain the cash flow. And I fail to see how The Rock is going to make it work. Or sorry, he didn't make it work.
I just feel like football wouldn't be able to withstand it. I do think basketball can. Like, I don't know if you guys remember this, but And One.
And one tour,
You know, And One toured. Like,
but we're 25 years down the road. So like,
Exactly.
But I'm saying when it was, and it's like maybe
you had
infancy. When VHS was still hot, I had the And One VHS. I had the ball.
I just think with the amount of money that you can put up like this, and the amount of resources you can get, I think it is possible.
Well, soccer has
for
like
basketball.
fucking 30 leagues. They work.
Right. Well, soccer then again is an international
Game.
sport.
Yeah.
Basketball. I mean, okay, basketball's already kind of there though. I would say.
This is what I'll say. I was breaking this down the other day. I feel like soccer, yes, it is by far the most popular sport. And I don't think it's because it's the easiest or anything
Way
like
to
that.
just take a shit on cricket.
But,
yeah, okay.
but look, soccer is the most popular sport in the world because it's the cheapest. It's the most, like, you can get anything with a you don't even necessarily need a soccer ball. You can get a piece of paper and play soccer. You know what I mean?
kick it around
Football, what do you need? You need an actual football, you need pads.
You might need
how
a
you see it
helmet.
on TV.
Yeah.
Basketball, you need a hoop. You need a basketball. You need somewhere to bounce the
All
ball.
you need is this fucking trash can, dog.
Yeah, but
Back to golf, it's like the most expensive sport
Right?
there.
Yeah, that's
so you
true.
need a ton of clubs. You need a outfit, for God's sake.
I
You need a collared shirt and some slacks.
I saw a 30 for 30 one time about these guys who played golf in India, and they had rebar. They fucking bent it, and they were playing like in the like slums of it, and they would just hit little paper balls and shit. That looked pretty interesting.
dude, in Brazil,
In the favelas,
yes,
yeah.
in the favelas, you guys know who Rolandinho is?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, never heard of the fucking
Hey, look,
guy.
The
hey,
great-
testing your soccer knowledge.
Only an
dog.
icon.
Where he grew up in Brazil, he was saying as a man, you only had 3 choices. It was either you be a dancer, you be a fighter, or You be a soccer player.
Ain't no love for the drugs in Brazil.
That's it. I mean, other than that, you're gonna be a bum. You're probably even gonna die.
Low-key.
But that's the reality that some of those guys live off of. You know.
Well,
what
do
I
you
mean?
think that's somewhere here in the States sometimes with some of these guys where it's like it's either professional sports or it's kind of like shit. You're shit out of luck.
Kind of.
But I would say in Brazil it's more soccer. It's not like they're not like, damn, you're gonna go to the league NBA in Brazil. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think the NBA, I don't think it can happen because we already got too many leagues going. Like, there's too much shit out there already. Like, it's not just like the NBA and then it was like, oh, here's this European basketball league. You know what I'm saying?
Why wouldn't Kyrie switch leagues?
He's so beloved, that guy.
I know, but why? What's holding him like to play in the NBA?
Nothing.
Exactly.
If I was gonna bet on, I mean, Stephon Marbury's a fucking deity. He's like one of the like 3 Americans.
Is he still in China?
Oh, I think he's a citizen there.
Yeah.
He's like one of 3 Americans to get his like face on a Chinese stamp.
As much clowning you do to this league,
What league?
the big 3, I think it
Oh,
is
that's
a
just
success.
a joke.
Yeah, you think it's a joke, but
It's definitely successful. They've been on for
Yeah.
they're on, how long have they been on? 7 years?
yeah.
That's 7 more years than I thought they would have made it.
I think you're a little more hard on the big 3, but me personally, I think it's a success, and you can take that up a notch. to
Like
another
3-on-3,
league.
I think 3-on-3.
No,
league?
just
Oh,
another
okay.
league in general. You
Well,
know
what's
what
the
I mean?
best basketball leagues? NBA than Euro? Then
NBA,
Turkish?
whatever league fucking Luca came from.
Yeah, European.
Spain. I think
Spain.
they got
Yeah,
a
he
good
was
league
on
over there.
Real Madrid
and then probably China overseas.
or
over there.
Turkish league's pretty good. They had like Enes Kanter and shit.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like journeymen out there, like Jalil Okafor.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I looked him up the other day.
He's still on his journey.
Oh, dude, that guy. 20 years too fucking late, man.
I think it also goes back to the player because there's got to be some kind of content in you if you're fine with leaving the pro leagues that we have here to a lower quality of competitiveness out there. Like, for example, look at Albert Pujols, right? Didn't he leave the league last year? He went over to the Dominican,
Oh,
right?
hitting bombs.
bombs, and how long did that last? He ended up right back in the MLB,
And he's just
finishing out his last year with the Cardinals, rightfully so. I mean,
You know,
kudos to the machine
Oh, okay.
for doing that.
I
Quick
think
note.
he gets a farewell tour, but no one likes him. I guess.
Quick note: my first baseball game ever was seeing Albert Pujols.
Angel game.
Dodger game. Come on.
When did you go?
Fuck the Angels.
When did you go to the
That's
Dodgers?
memorable.
When I was little, my first Dodger.
Oh, so
game.
just Dodgers versus Cardinals.
Yeah,
I thought you meant like
the
you went
year
when
that-
he was on the Dodger. You know, he was on the Dodgers.
Yeah,
last year. That's why I was like, oh shit, when you went to a baseball game.
The first, like, way back, like 2000, whenever the Cardinals won the World Series,
Yep.
and he was
Wow.
fucking dominant.
Like 03,
and he hit
yeah.
a home run against us.
Oh,
You know what?
I said us like I'm a Dodger fan. I'm sorry.
I would say this: Angel Stadium over Dodger Stadium every day of the fucking
Really?
week. Dodger Stadium's a shithole. I'll never go back.
I disagree.
How nice is it, bro? You just pull up,
It's a
you
little
walk to
cleaner.
the fucking game. You're just like, that's
Things
great.
are a little
They
more
had those, They had
organized.
those awesome cookies.
those.
We went to go
boxers-
see Shohei Ohtani. He got hit in the hand with the first pitch and was out the
I
rest
think
of
it
the
was the
game.
first inning.
Yeah, I was so
Didn't
upset.
last long.
Look, I'm not a Dodger fan, but I'll say this, like I like to say with the Raiders: it's a dump, but it's our dump. All right.
You guys aren't in a dump though. You guys have a
Oh yeah, we got
stadium
a beautiful stadium. Yeah.
You missed the dirt.
A little bit.
Got to give credit to the organization for renovating the place. It looks a lot better than it did
Yeah.
when I was a kid.
Oh, dude, it's fucking. I'm glad they got out of that shithole
Yeah.
a little bit.
So let's transition. I heard you do like basketball and football, right? So
Yes.
who do you necessarily cheer for in basketball?
In basketball, I'm just glad the Boston Celtics didn't get another one on the Lakers.
You see Draymond's shirt today?
I did not.
He had a quest for 18 and he had 17. Like every Celtic banner, and the 18 one was blank. Said Warriors got the dub or something.
Oh,
That
that's
shit was
good.
hilarious.
I'm glad you said that. When I met Sean, he was like, I'm a Laker fan. I was like, good. We get along.
That's a good thing.
Football, he's a betting man. He's a good gambler, dude. If we ever
For
have a
football,
gambling
it's
show,
a team that's going to make you the money. I think.
Yeah.
That's what football is about.
It's the best sport.
you
Look,
and Sean might have to have a gambling show.
hey,
There we go.
I'm with it.
Even though you don't
Put our
make the right
picks out there.
fucking picks, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm 2-0.
I don't know about all that.
So every time I've gone to Vegas with my brother-in-law here in the past, I just rely on him for the right picks.
So the first
So
time
he had an upset. Let me give you a couple upsets he had. He had the Titans beating the Patriots
yeah.
in New England.
That was last year, 2 years ago?
He said He said this kid's gonna run over the whole Patriots about Henry.
Smoke Henry.
I would
And
tell you
sure
this.
enough-
Can I just say this? Let me call him. This is the shot I called because we were like, it was Houston versus Buffalo in the playoffs. Josh Allen. Check out that video,
That's another
everybody.
one. I think that
Check
was the same weekend.
And I was like, he's like, who you gonna bet on? And I was like, I want to bet on Buffalo so fucking bad. But I promise you, and there's gonna be a play where Deshaun Watson gets hit by 3 fucking guys, and he spins around and makes a play, and that's exactly what happened. And I was like, thank God I didn't bet my money on the Bills.
That's a man right there that thinks and bet and would bet. I would say with his head and not his heart.
Yeah, we definitely got to get some betting going on. So you don't really have a team in football, Sean?
In
Just more
football,
betting.
you know what? I'm liking these Rams. I'm liking what I'm seeing with the Rams, with the stadium.
Whose house?
Young-
Our house.
Our house. Guy's got a young coach over there who I love his intensity and his IQ for the game.
Work ethic. Yeah.
They're good over there. And how could you not like Aaron Donald? We're watching greatness right now. I think.
Aaron Donald is
with
definitely
Aaron Donald.
He is fucking amazing. But I can't ride with the Rams, Sean. I'm sorry. I just
Might see you in the Super Bowl.
I hope.
Don't worry, they won't
Hope it
be.
happens.
Don't worry, the Raiders won't live up to that.
We'll be there.
So Juan,
I don't know about them though.
Juan, I got a good Raiders Super Bowl story for you.
What's
so growing up with my my cousin and I, cousin's a diehard Raider fan. Growing up as a kid, I was a diehard Bucks fan because we had a couple players go to us for some jewelry in the family business from the Bucks. So growing up, diehard Bucks fan, right? Loved the defense, loved Warren Sapp, Derek Brooks, Rondé Barber, John Lynch, all those guys.
Tiffany, can you get some tissues? Because Juan's about to have a fucking mental breakdown thinking about
all those
this
guys,
game.
right? So sure enough, both teams, my team and cousin's team, end up in the Super Bowl. And my side of the family was on this side of the room. His side of the family was on that side of the room.
Awkward.
And I just lost count how many interceptions we picked.
A lot.
The great
Dexter
Rich
Jackson.
Gannon.
Yeah.
We got to pick him off all day.
Their center was like, let me go to Mexico pregame.
That was good. That was a good idea. And got to see John Gruden run up and down that sideline the whole game.
Chucky, man.
That was a joy. That was a joy. Good times.
I thank the football gods that I wasn't into football at that point as much as I am right now. I was just a little kid running around, didn't know what was going on. But
how into football would you say? I mean, let me try to mention. We used to do hypotheticals with Juan about stuff he'd risk for the Raiders. So I was like, Juan, if I give you the chance to own the Raiders, but you have to jump out of a plane, 80%
with a parachute,
80% chance the parachute doesn't open, 20% chance it opens. But if it opens, you own the Raiders. He's like, I'll take those odds. Take them. It's like 90-10. I can do it.
It's probably already 90-10 as it is, bro.
Little Raiders roulette there.
Yeah, see a little Raiders roulette. I like that.
Oh man. So let's get off sports a little bit, Sean. I'm trying to get a little bit better at this interview aspect. You're probably our third person that we've interviewed really.
With Brett.
We got Brett. Won't count Joey. Joey doesn't want to go in his personal life.
Yeah, Joey doesn't have personal life. Isaiah, no, he's just like a guest analyst.
I think just Brett.
Tony T back in the day.
Yeah.
Tony
So look, congratulations. You're our second person that we're gonna interview. All right. So Sean, what do you necessarily do?
So for line of work. We're in a family jewelry business. So bread and butter is getting people married. Selling engagement rings.
Shout out to Max.
Shout out to Juan not being committed yet. A little scared to take the dive.
Hey,
It's a big step to take, but it means a lot to be in a lot of people's lives for such an important matter.
I mean, look, I'll be honest. I asked my sister. I was like, "Yo, I need to ask your husband for a huge favor." They were engaged. So I was like, "Fiance, a huge favor." And she's like, "What?" I was like, "I want to propose to Ashley." I was like, "Will he help me?" And she's like, "Of course, I'll help you. He loves you." And he took me there, and I didn't know my ass from a hole in the ground. There's clarity and shit, and I was like, "Oh, there's clarity," because this is what blew my mind. He was like, "People think I want a 10-carat diamond,
right?
But a 7-carat diamond can be way nicer because of clarity, and that's just because in America you think bigger, better, but that's not always the case." That blew my fucking brain.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know shit about diamonds, bro, but All I know
One day.
Uncut
You'll get
Gems.
Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems. That's the only.
Wasn't that good?
That was a great movie.
Enjoyed it.
I never
was
seen that
great.
fucking movie.
Oh, we got to see it.
So speaking of
The way they tie it in with the jewelry business, with the sports.
How accurate was it in there?
You know what? It's a little bit far fetched. The business side of it about the gems
scream-
and
Like, what scream far-fetched to you?
far fetched. Just the way like they kind of the sourcing, how they got the diamond. You know, it's not all that bad. It's a little bit more legit. You know, it's not as bad as that. So.
Well, it's like I watch shows and like I'm a locksmith in like my day job. Shout out to that. But like they'll just stick a fucking paperclip in a lock and it's like I'm like I fucking wish, bro. Like, how many times I've been like trying to help some poor lady get into her house and I'm like I can't pick the lock. I'm trying my darndest.
Jeez. So who's a famous person that you've worked with? I gotta know. You, KG, Kevin Garnett.
You know what? I don't think we better say names on here, but you know what? Growing up, I'll never forget as a young kid, Pops used to sell a bunch of jewelry to a lot of the Kings guys. So
Really?
LA Kings, talking hockey, got to deliver some pieces in Great Western Forum, got to go into the locker room. I have a hockey stick of Wayne Gretzky, of all people. He's my Jordan when it comes to hockey. So, never forget those times. That was my first love when it comes to sports, was hockey. Shout out to the Stanley Cup Finals that's going on right now.
Tampa Bay Lightning, aren't they in it?
I mean, they're
Colorado?
So you guys both got it. Tampa Bay, Colorado.
What are Colorado called?
Avalanche.
The Wild.
Avalanche.
Oh, no.
We're actually
Colorado Wild.
No, there's a team called the Wild, right?
Minnesota Wild.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
apologize. I apologize for my out boys.
But back to Tampa Bay, we're watching a little bit of history, guys, because they're going for a three-peat.
Has this happened before?
This has only happened a handful of times, and the last time it happened was like in the 80s. So to be able to pull off a three-peat nowadays in hockey, which I consider the toughest team sport to win a championship on. You know, everybody's in on it. The hitting, the checking, the line changing that all these guys are doing
How many guys
throughout the game.
How many guys are on the ice?
On the ice, it's five guys, just like basketball,
Including goalie?
excluding goalie.
So 6-on-6
So
with
it's
goalie.
actually 6-on-6. You're right.
No, okay.
With goalie.
So you know how he was like, I don't know shit about golf. I don't know anything about hockey. So please
Hockey,
educate me.
You know what? It's a little bit more. There's a little bit more that goes into it. So it's not like basketball where you could just let Steph Curry, let's say, just let him play for the last 10 minutes of the fourth, and you know that your star player will most likely get it done for you. Hockey, if you leave your guy out there for anything over a couple minutes, that guy's gassed. He probably has to go back to the locker room and sit out for the rest of the period.
Holy shit.
So it's a lot more quick line changes going on. Every shift that these players are on, which lasts about a minute or less, is a lot more intense. So it kind of differentiates in that aspect.
I can't dispute that. I really can't, because I don't watch hockey like that. My opinion, I think football is the ultimate team sport. I just feel like 11 guys on a field, and there's so many instances where there's a game inside the game. Like, you got the receivers versus the cornerback. Like, they got their game going on. You got the linemen going against their defensive linemen. Like,
running
their
back
matchup.
on linebackers.
Yeah,
And quarterback versus everyone.
Yeah, quarterback versus everyone. And it's just absolutely insane to me. It's one of the reasons why I love football. But I can't dispute that with hockey. I really can't. I don't know it enough. I go for the Sharks. Why? I like the Sharks because I like sharks in general, bro. And they're from San Jose, Bay Area, area.
Like
you know, shout out to the Bay. But
Shout out to the Warriors.
yeah, shout out to the Warriors. But the Lightning, I was telling Max this. I might be capping like 100%. I heard the Lightning have a different type of playing style. Like, they're kind of like the Warriors, how they're inventing this fast pace, just fucking go type of hockey. Correct?
Correct. Couple that with having the best goalie in the game, Andrei Vasilevsky. He's the best goalie right now in
Russian?
hockey for the last 3 years. Russian.
Oh, I'm
All the
fucking
great
Russians don't
goalies-
play, dog.
Shocking.
You know what? It's shocking, right? A lot of the best players, of course, Ovechkin.
Yeah, Ovi.
It seems like every goalie nowadays is pretty
How
much
important
Russian.
is it in hockey? I mean, I know it's important, but like, what's the margin between a good goalie and an average one? Like, what does that do to a team?
You know what? Height has a lot to do with it. A lot of goalies that are above, I would say 6'2", 6'3", they just cover a lot more of the net.
Hey, you might
I'm a
have finding
cheat
your new
code, dog.
career.
Yeah.
So like, what's like a guy is there a forward?
So there's a center, a left wing, a right wing, and 2 defensemen.
So how big are the goal scorers? Like,
Goal scorers, size-wise,
yeah.
probably about 6 foot, maybe a little bigger. It's
So-
all about the skating, though. You got to be nimble out there. You got to
Well,
be
that's
quick.
the biggest difference from
That-
what
and
I
that's where
heard.
you're coming in
into
with
that.
Tampa Bay Lightning. Those guys fly on the
Yeah,
ice.
they're great skaters because now what?
Stamkos, Kucherov, all these guys. I
Right.
mean, you know what? Even on Edmonton, they got a couple of young players. Look out for them. Connor McDavid, he's getting Wayne Gretzky comparisons.
Wow.
Like I heard, like when the Kings were winning it, you know, with the Jonathan Quicks and Doughty.
What'd they call him? Why do you say quick in Spanish? This fool in my high school would always say, Jonathan Rapido or something.
Rapido?
Yeah.
See that?
Juan Rapido. That's what he called him.
That's good.
But what the Kings were doing, they weren't necessarily like the Lightning. They were like tough nose,
Good eye.
yeah, fucking balls, like more like
More
we're gonna fuck
defensive.
you up. Like
Yeah.
we're more like
Hitting, checking.
the 2000 Ravens.
Yeah,
you know
like
what I
that,
mean?
like
In
that.
your face, we're gonna beat you like that. The Lightning, they're like the jump shooting team. Like they're fast and everyone can skate. And I heard that's where hockey is going towards because, like in basketball, everyone has to be everyone has to be skilled. Everyone has to be able to dribble somewhat and score, right?
Nowadays, yeah.
Nowadays.
You don't see the 6'8" guy who just
Lambeer
sets hard screens and gets 8 rebounds.
exactly.
Yeah, that's
And
no fun anymore.
So in hockey now, you got to be able to fucking skate. You can't just be the goon. You ever seen Goon?
yeah.
Oh, there you go.
You can't be a goon.
Happy Gilmore was a goon.
There's no more goons in hockey no more.
That's good.
That's what I heard. I heard there's like barely any goons anymore.
Right. The only time you will see a goon out there is whenever, so like this last series between the Rangers and the Lightning, the Rangers have this guy, Bryant Reeves, and tall, big, physical guy. They just put him in the game in the last minute of the game because that's when the scraps happen in hockey.
Fucking love it.
And so
Just
he
blast
will-
people.
Yeah, he will just get in someone's face and make sure no cheap shots are taken on his team before the next game.
I feel like
Wow.
NBA and football need a goon.
NBA could.
I think the last goon NBA had maybe was Kendrick Perkins.
Like,
If he's
Draymond?
considered a goon. Draymond's still...
he's just too. Like, he's got the skill, but he's got the goon mentality.
Yeah.
I'd be a great goon. I'd be fucking great laying some. I take a flagrant 2 any day of the week. But that's the problem with the NBA. They're just too fucking soft. These guys, dude. It's like Giannis low-key a goon. Giannis throw them bows.
Low key. No, I think he's just physical.
You think
But
Shaq was a goon?
no, he wasn't a goon.
You think Shaq was just like, I'm like the largest human being to ever touch a basketball?
He was just
And
dominant.
here's my elbow.
One more thing on hockey. Do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it's more exciting. You know what's happening nowadays in hockey, which is just insane. If you look at the scores of some of these games, they're looking like low scoring football games. I think Calgary and Edmonton, this last series in the playoffs, one of the games ended like 8-7 or 9-8. It was some crazy score like that.
But is that just like a bad goalie, or is that just like, if you take like 50 shots on goal, you're going to make a couple? It's just par for the course.
I think it goes back to what Juan said. Less emphasis on defense, more emphasis on skating, passing, scoring, shooting, just putting up more shots on goal. No. These goalies are like trying to stop 50 shots on net a game as opposed to 30.
Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly.
I think that's just... I think it's always going to be a little cyclical, because then there's always going to... Like in the NBA, it's going to get to a point where they're going to be like, we have to slow it down just a touch. And when they slow it down a touch, you're going to get like a team like Like, honestly, the Celtic team was kind of like a throwback. They were like, we can't really score that well and like on half court, but we just play really good freaking defense.
Yeah.
And I think that's always going to be something to keep an eye on. Like, I know the Ravens haven't won a Super Bowl, but they're like bucking every modern trend. It's like, we're not going to pass the ball. We're going to zig when everyone else is zagging. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. Who are you going for in the Stanley Cup?
Stanley Cup, you know what? I'm torn between both teams. I want to see a three-peat, but then again, I'm loving this young, fast-paced Colorado Avalanche team. They actually skate faster. They put up more shots, more goals than Tampa. And I'm just glad that there's a good enough team to challenge Tampa Bay.
Is it their first time there?
This is, you know what? I think it's their first time maybe in the past 5, 6, 7 years or so.
But like this group of guys is kind of young.
These group of guys, yeah. They're
So
young.
hopefully the moment's not too big for them.
Right.
Yeah.
I think next year they'll only get better and
Yeah.
they'll get more experience.
Side note, the Stanley Cup Finals trophy, best trophy in sports.
Hands down.
Hands down.
Better
Best.
than Lombardi?
Fuck yeah.
It's definitely like
Way better.
It's definitely like
It's huge, bro.
yeah, you could definitely kill somebody with that thing.
Yeah, and you can drink vodka out of it. Like
Yeah, best
all the
part
pla-
of it. That's the
all,
best
all the
part.
players just drink out, it, and they're all Russian, so it's like fucking win-win.
Water.
Best part about that is each player gets to take home the cup
Right.
for one day.
Yeah,
I don't know how it is in basketball. Is it the same?
I
Or-
don't even think they get that
I
shit.
think-
I don't think they get it ever in their own possession.
no, they
at
do.
all.
Giannis had it last year in Chick-fil-A.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
No, that was his finals MVP.
Oh, really?
I think that was his finals
I bet.
MVP, yeah.
Could be.
No. He
He
definitely
had the Larry
took it.
O'Brien?
Yeah, he took.
I don't
it.
know because
He took it to Greece.
Wow.
I thought he
Yeah,
I'm gonna look that up. I'm gonna
look that up.
I'm gonna call you
Look
out.
that
Juan.
up.
But it's always fun to hear what these hockey players are doing with the trophy on their day.
That's
You know,
dope.
You see pictures of guys eating cereal or, like you said, drinking something out of it, or
Gotta say I'm sorry, Juan.
Yeah.
100% correct.
Yeah.
best tradition.
I like that. I like when trophies are traditions. Like, you know, the Pats have a Lombardi that's dented because, like, Gronk tried to bunt. And I'm like, that's always cool.
Yeah,
Like, it would have been hilarious if the Bucks dropped the Lombardi. Remember when they threw it on the
Yeah.
boat? That would have been hilarious.
yeah, most definitely.
That just always adds to the lore of sports and makes it, like, more magical.
With that being said, we're almost an hour in. I think
Holy
we gotta
shit.
cut it. I think we gotta cut
Let's
it. Man.
cut it. Cut
Yeah.
it like it's like a diamond.
Well, look, thank you everybody that's been watching this podcast. If you guys made it this far, you might as well hit that fucking subscribe button, bro. Sean, have you hit the subscribe button?
Yes, I have.
Have you
We
ever
appreciate
unhit it
that.
and then re-hit it?
You know what? If it gets us another hit,
Oh, you got
I
to.
will get on that.
It fucks with the algorithm.
We have this like, no, I don't want to get into it. We have this like thing that goes back to Monopoly of tearing down houses and rebuilding them just
Right.
for like the clout.
Yeah.
It was just stupid. Like, you know, like teenagers are idiots.
Yeah, exactly. But make sure to hit that like button, comment down below any thoughts, opinion. We talked about a lot of shit in this podcast: golf, hockey. If you guys look,
Jury.
anyone
Shout out DJ Khaled.
that's been in the
Diamonds.
lab like complaining about us, saying that we only talk football and basketball. Look, we gave you guys a wide variety today. All right. Max, any last words?
I'm grateful to have my bro-in-law on the show.
Thank you for having me,
I got
guys.
a great
It's
replacement.
a
I've already
pleasure.
scoped out Juan's replacement. It's looking good. You passed the first interview.
Hey,
The
thank
pleasure
you,
is
Sean.
mine. Thank you guys for having me. Like I said, big fan, and you know, a lot of good things to come.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We out. Peace.
Thank you.